Okay, so what I had on the topic for this call was a possible volume training, like how we would go about that, sharing volume with the team and different opportunities for anyone who's 5-star and above and is in the roundtable, which is like the corporate page. You probably saw the buzz around just like highlighting, of course, Success Club is important, but we also want to share with our teams how they can just make money. And doing that is literally just selling sales, and how we can like upshare things and how we can have retention with our products, because the retention is the biggest part. It's the products that we get them on HD and then the next day it rolls, or the next month it rolls over, and you still get that 90 PV with the Shakeology or whatever it might be, when your initial challenge pack didn't even allow you that much team volume. So I think understanding like what products give us what volume is important, and probably a lot of leaders don't even know. I know for me it was eye-opening too, to see like what was gifted what volume and what wasn't. So I'm sure new coaches have literally zero clue, but it's that fine line of how do we talk about the importance of Success Club and also just selling in general being an important thing, because it does need to be. Right now, the reality is if you are a recognition driven person, which a lot of people on our team are, then you're going to want to hit Success Club because you're going to be recognized at Summit. You're going to have early registration for events. You're going to go on Success Club trips. You have all these things that happen with hitting. But then also, and if you're pushing for Premier or Elite, like if you're someone on your team who's pushing for that, that is a category. So that is a reality for a lot of people, and you can't ignore it if that's one of your big goals for your team. So it's just finding that balance of that, and then also like, okay, like selling is selling. And I was someone, I never gave my coach a Success Club point. I was the person who bought on eBay and then signed up, and she reimbursed my $40 sign-up fee. And then after that, I bought Shakeology like the next month. And so she was like never gifted any Success Club points, which is fine. I feel like, in the long run, the income that's come from our team, 100% worth it. But just to show people like all aspects of it. So we don't want to take away the Success Club side for those who are running and doing well with that. But we also want to allow for our team to feel wins no matter what. And that's another reason why I do try to, our top 10 is based on volume. But again, it's only based on personal volume because I can't see specific team volume. So I know there's so many diamonds. And that was the other thing is, we've grown, our diamond page has grown from like 80 to like 105 of us or 110 of us in such a short period of time. And so I think there's probably a lot of leaders here who are still learning leadership and like still trying to figure out how to share certain things with your team. So that's where my head was at with that. If you guys are on the same page with me, I don't know. And I was kind of throwing some things into the diamond page that I was seeing where people had made graphics of like what gives you what team volume so that we can share those things. But maybe if you guys have any insight on how you think a volume training would be best run. I think last time we honestly just streamed it live, kind of like Surge style, and did that. However, with all the graphics, that may not be the best route this time. I don't know. With needing to show like all the products or whatever. And then after this conversation is over, I'd be happy to stay on with anybody who wants to reverse engineer goals. I know that was a topic brought up as well. So if you guys want to hang on afterwards, I'd be happy to help you with that. But let's start with maybe just the best way to approach volume and, I don't know, I guess training our team on it. If you guys have any ideas. I mean, while you guys are, and then if you guys want to talk, go ahead. But my thought goes to, I 100% give the challenge pack, not because it's giving me the most volume, but because it is 100% the best option at that point for my customer. I mean, if someone's going to invest in $130 in Shakeology, why would I not tell you for $10 more you can have Beachbody on demand for a year with all the meal plans and all the recipes? So it's the only like way that I talk to people really in the beginning. And then where I go from there is, okay, if that's not something they can afford, or if they truly don't feel that they need both, or if they already have one but aren't working with a coach, then we go down the list of what's better next. I'm absolutely still going to help my customer where they're at. I'm absolutely still going to allow them in my group. I'm not someone who requires a challenge pack to be in my group. And I also have customers who have been customers for years who come and go in my groups who, maybe haven't purchased anything in a year other than their Beachbody on demand renewing or whatever. And I don't care about that, because I know that if they're in my group, they're going to be doing some kind of Beachbody supplement or product or workout. And I know that eventually they're going to need to renew those products. And then when that happens, it's a sale. A sale is a sale. And if they end up getting Shakeology on HD, or they end up getting a challenge pack and it's been 6 months, Success Club points. If not, they purchase a product and it's still commission. So that's kind of how I talk to my newer coaches, is like, that's where I start. I start with the challenge pack, and then obviously you're going to meet your customer like wherever they're at. Also, I think the way Katie kind of approached the National Wake Up Call, talking about adding certain things to the cart, that's not something I've ever done, but I think it's really smart. Adding maybe your favorite supplement on top of something and saying, hey, this is what you always see me drink. If you don't want it, you can remove it. But I thought I'd throw it in there, just to see if it's something that you wanted to add on top of things. That's an upshare.
Just sitting here.
Try me. It's easy. I'm trying to read all of your comments.
What was the initial question, Nikki? Just
saying, like, how can we share with our teams the importance of selling in general? Like, if we're going to do like a volume call, we're going to talk volume, how can we run the fine line of still celebrating the importance of Success Club, but also allowing them to have those smaller wins where if they don't hit Success Club, they're still selling, and a sale is a sale. Income is income for them, and team volume sometimes is better on products that don't necessarily give them Success Club points. So how do you like run that fine line of sharing, maybe what you do? I don't know. I don't even know if I have like a clear question. It's really just like, how do you share?
Yeah.
Volume?
So I kind of told my diamonds this recently, because we were kind of talking back and forth about it, that the challenge pack is always going to be the thing that we're leading with. And I'm going to continue to teach my new coaches to lead with that. And I think teaching them how to share the value of the challenge pack without like word vomiting on people. But also that it's not like the end all be all. So letting them know, like, it's okay if someone starts on the 2-week free trial, and that you didn't like, you're not a failure if someone didn't buy a challenge pack and you didn't get 2 points for that person. So maybe just reminding them. And I do think like doing on like what actual volume points are for different products, which a lot of those graphics do, and how you can make $100 in a month or in a week with a challenge pack, or with, X amount of people on the 3-month membership, you're still making $100. So maybe if we just kind of laid it out like that, but I do think, and I do think it's awkward to tiptoe around like lead with a challenge pack. Yes, get Success Club, but also it's not the end of the world if you end up starting.
I was on a 15-star call with some of the other Superstar Diamonds and Doug Moss, and one of the things he brought up, because we're like, why why the dip in the volume then? And it wasn't 100% explained. Like, it still definitely needs explanation, but he's saying, like, you're getting a bonus. You're getting like a $50 to $60 and up bonus on a challenge pack. So that's where some of the immediate income comes from versus like a 90 PB Shakeology for 130 and you're getting 25% of that. So, I mean, there is a give and a take with both. You have to kind of be able to see both sides of it. But it wasn't 100% explained. I did get good feedback from Jeff Matthewson, who said that CAB had a really great call last week, where there might be the possibility of retention points being a thing. So they're reevaluating like where Success Club points are going to come from. So versus like just having, you know, a new sale give you Success Club points. Okay, well, you've got your customer on HD, you've retained them for 3 months, Success Club points. So there is talk, there is chatter. Coaches are definitely speaking up about it and sharing like what they want to see happen, just so that, you know, maybe the coaches who have awesome volume, but they're older customers can still see the success with Success Club as well, and be rewarded for that. So yeah, there's definitely talk.
Michael Neiman made it sound like they're trying to maybe roll something out at Summit.
There's no
I mean,
shot.
the way he said like that, like what you're talking about with the retention, and he was like, so more information around Summit.
I mean, maybe he'll say at Summit in a year, like, I just don't see that happening, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Like,
yeah, more would just be him saying that it's in the works.
I think he might say there's something in the works, but like that's a tech issue too. That's like something where our back office has to register that, and y'all know how long a tech issue takes to be like updated. So
I think what will help too with this is that I forget where, but another change that they're possibly going to make is a new drill down that we can, or in the drill down that we can do of just team volume. And for those of you that are confused about it, like when we do volume shout outs weekly, that's personal volume. Personal volume is like, you could go on right now and order products. You could order 10 bags of Shakeology and be at the top of the volume board because that's contributing to your volume. You know, it could be like your own personal purchases. So really the recognition that I would love to be able to do is the team volume recognition, but it's impossible right now in our office to pull it if you have trickle volume from up above. So for example, if I try to pull that report right now by going into where you see your legs, you see left and right, and clicking on that and seeing all the people that are contributing to the team volume, because what coaches are saying is that team volume is success for everybody. That's helping contribute to everybody, and personal volume isn't the same thing as team volume, and it's not producing it's not the same income, you know? So if I were to pull mine though, I see so much of beatnik. So it's impossible for me to do that right now. And it's hard because I want to recognize that, but you can't, you know, it's like impossible. So I did see that they were possibly thinking about making a new way for us to view that, where it's just our downline. And that could be shocking to see somebody that you wouldn't expect at all being at the top of the shout out that doesn't get Success Club points, but maybe they sell 50 tubs of Energize a month, you know?
I think to make them understand why that's so important is so many newer coaches still think that it's just about Success Club. They don't understand volume or team cycle bonuses at all. So they don't understand how it's affecting anyone's business, especially their own future business. So I think that if we do another volume training, I think we really teach them it's not just about commissions. Like my paycheck, Nikki's paycheck, Katie's paychecks, it's not 90% commissions like they're seeing, because I think that there's a ton of younger coaches who still think that the top coaches are just really good salespeople. And so if we can drill home that fact, then it's easier for them to see big vision. It's about Success Club points and all the awesome stuff that comes with challenge packs. and of course changing lives because that's the best value, but selling Energize to someone who doesn't want the workouts is still a big deal.
Right. And that's where it's also still a fine line, because it's like you're still teaching your team they need to make commission, because the commission equals team volume, which equals 95% of a leader's paycheck once you get to a certain level. You know, your team cycles is like where it is. And that's where I try to tell my new coaches, like, you don't need to be hustling commissions forever. Like, that's obviously where you started. Like, I didn't have a team. 100% where I was making my money was on commission. But now the transition is this percentage of my paycheck is team cycles. And that's what you want to see. So that's where it's like, it's so hard to teach it, because it's like commission that your team is making below you does equal team cycles. You know, it's like,
I think, Nikki, like with some of the people on my team that hit really high numbers of Success Club, eventually, not all the time, but eventually they burn out with that. And then they haven't been focusing on that cycle, you know, like what you were just talking about in the beginning for you and a lot of us, it was sales and it was the challenge packs. And that's great. And that's great even 70 months in, like Katie, but there are some people who strive to hit those higher numbers, but never switch that focus to that balance, you know, of like, how do you build for cycle bonuses too, and Success Club? And like what Tori just said about the $12, that's it right there. They see that and they're like, oh, well, but then helping them not burn out with all those big sales too. I think there's like you're saying, a fine balance of both.
Well, I think it's like, yeah, because Success Club, I mean, in February, I hit SC 68 and had my lowest paying month this year. So because my team wasn't doing anything. So I think figuring out a balance of also how to explain that to them without, I mean, the biggest fear in MLM is that people are sitting at the top making all this money off of us. So how do we be transparent? I don't know if it's maybe just having people who are open to sharing, like, I don't know if it needs to get in like nitty gritty of numbers, but if I as a new coach could see what someone potentially is producing from Team Cycle, to understand that it's not a $14 cycle, like Chelsea was saying, like it's $1,000 cycle, and I didn't make a single, you know, and I don't have to worry about selling challenge packs. So I think
100% there needs to be a topic of, yes, there's a $14 cycle. Yes, you know, my first paycheck that cycled was $28 because it was like 2 emerald cycles. But you can cycle 96 times a day. So imagine if you're capitalizing on that, 96 times 18 a day, you know? And I think on a volume call, income needs to be talked about. I don't think that it's anything that you need to, like, if you're on the call to talk about volume, you're on the call to make money. Like, that's why we're talking about volume. So I don't think we need to like skirt around that.
And even people who say, oh, like making money isn't my number one priority. At the end of the day, it like, you know.
I mean, if you start a side hustle, you want to make money. Like, I've never talked to any of my coaches that said they don't care to make money.
That was me. I was so chicken shit.
And I get it. Like, that's how I was too. I didn't want to fail. So I was like, well, I don't really care to make money. I just want a discount. But like, that's usually just a scared mentality or an excuse or whatever, because who's going to start another business to not earn an income?
And I was listening to a podcast, and it's like, people who make money can do good in the world. Like, if you don't make money, how are you going to impact the world? But what Julie said about teaching our people how to talk about the value of a challenge pack, and like, I feel like 90% of the time we're all still going to lead that way on stories and in private conversations and everything, just like we always do. But this past week, I went on stories talking about, you can try this for free. So maybe we just, like, once a quarter, we open the doors for free with the quarterly BOD membership, just because I got so much more interest from people who I've talked about the challenge pack only with. And they're like, oh, well, maybe I can just get a behind the scenes peek, and then 2 weeks later we can talk about a challenge pack or not, like whatever. But maybe we just teach our people, yeah, even if you're just talking about free, throw in there also, if you want to do the whole thing, you get $28 off this month, but no biggie if you don't. But I just think that, yes, we lead with challenge packs, but once in a while we let them know, hey, there's also this option.
And I've seen, like, not to bring up other MLMs, but I do like following them just to see what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. And I've seen a lot of like product focused days or weeks. So like, you know, and I can always tell like what team, so it doesn't necessarily need to be one product because I feel like they all start posting about the same thing, but like a day where they share, okay, here's the yellow drink that you always see me drinking. Here's the boost that I put into my shakes and here's why. Here's, you know, the on-the-go sticks I use when I'm on vacation. Here are the bars that my kids love. Like just kind of throwing in products a week or a day or every third day or however you feel is best for you to share it like with your people. But you know, sharing those products, again, a sale is a sale, gets them in. Maybe they do HD, maybe they don't. But that product would get them into your group, and then maybe they see people doing Beachbody on Demand and they want to add that on, or I don't know, whatever. But I like
such a small shift because years and years and years of guilty of like just that press so hard for that challenge pack, like on that conversation. That just like, for example, last week, I just had a girl order 10-pack of Energize and 10-pack of Energize and a Shakeology sampler. And that's something I rarely do, is send out links for samplers, rarely. And so I sent it out to her, added her into my community, which is something I also never do. I usually have them do like some sort of bigger order for that. She got in there, and today she's ordering her challenge pack because she tried them. She loves the community, and now she's signing up, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's just like little things that you could do like that.
Having a little bit more patience, yes.
Yeah.
As a seller. I have a hard time with that.
And Carly, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like I have, you know, leaders who have incredible incomes and maybe they don't necessarily hit Success Club every single month, but like they have incredible team volume and they've built depth in their downlines. So like all of that I feel like is very important to be sharing too, because maybe what they see as important isn't important to someone else. So I think we need to show all aspects of the business for sure. I would agree with Amanda too, like 3-day refresh and ultimate reset stuff could definitely happen more often. Like I think so many people want a quick fix, whether we want to talk about that or not. So like being able to talk about the ultimate reset or 3-day refresh, which 3-day refresh gives, I don't know, like a lot of team volume apparently. I was like looking at it, I think more than a challenge pack. So getting your whole team on board for things like that. Like, okay, team, we're all going to do the 3-day refresh and we're all going to get our customers to do it. That is a load of team volume happening in the downline. Same with like ultimate reset, which, you know, I know not everyone can do ultimate reset all the time. It's more of a commitment for sure. But there are definitely other MLMs doing 30-day challenges all the time with clean eating, which is very similar to our ultimate reset. And they push it a lot. So I don't know.
So, I mean, do we think maybe we just need to do, like, I know someone did Alyssa say, like, make it 3-part, but, like, we need to do a product training, it almost sounds like. Like, what if we did a deep dive product training of all the products, what the volume is, and then have someone like Katie or someone share what the upsharing, like knowing what the products are. I don't know.
Alyssa had a good idea with parts. So maybe not necessarily in that order, Alyssa. Like she has part 1, how to earn, part 2, how to cycle, part 3, how to leverage volume. Maybe we did like part 1, product training. Like that's the first step. Here's all of the team volume, like graphics. And then we go into, okay, how does that earn me money?
Maybe part 2, even like not inviting, because I think we have so many trainings on inviting, but like how to talk to your customer about the best option for them.
Yeah.
Lead with the challenge.
Or that could be in part one with the products. I mean,
yeah,
because you're just throwing the products out there with numbers. It's like you could talk to them about it in that same part, I think.
Nikki, did you see recently the thing that Brooke Lipoff shared about how she highlights a product in her team page? Like every...
I mean, I probably glanced at it, but I didn't like...
It's like, I don't know if she does it right in her team page or it's like something separate they join. Like, remember how we used to have that Beatniks training page? Like, maybe we could have something like that to where it's like volume starts with, like you said, with us using the products and our coaches using it too, because then when our coaches are using it, then they're sharing it with others and it just rolls on and on. So she's basically saying that like once a month or however often, she's like, okay, this month we're going all in. Everybody is ordering Power Greens and we're going to learn as coaches, because this is our jobs to learn about these products, that we are going all in on Power Greens and we're going to use it ourselves and we're going to see what it does for us. And then we're going to share and then showing ways to incorporate it and sharing, you know, with others.
Kind of like a funnel. So like, okay, this month we're all doing this product. Everybody does it. Everybody talks about it on social. Everybody gets their customers on board.
Yeah. But I feel like there was some sort of, I'd have to go back and look at the post, but there was some sort of like maybe you had to purchase the product as a coach to get into the group so that you could get the training on how to share it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That could boost team volume hugely itself, even without selling it to a customer.
Yeah.
And with all the product training guides like we have in our office, I feel like we could efficiently run it wouldn't take a lot of work to do like a training on a product, just pull stuff from the
It could be like 2 coaches a month, like sharing, you know?
Yeah. Trying to read all these comments. Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the right track with like what we're saying as far as maybe compartmentalizing and doing parts for the training, and maybe we can think more on that, like where we want the parts to be. Erica. I don't know when we're doing this. Soon. Very soon. I also would love any of you guys who are doing Morning Meltdown and have thoughts on like creating a hype group.
Chelsea and I we talked about, we're going to meet this week. Like we haven't done a time, but I was like, just let me get through this call first. And like tomorrow we're going to talk about it.
Okay. Cause I was just thinking that, and I like started getting hives. I was on a one-on-one with, I think, Lynn, and I was like, oh my God, this is about to happen for like, I didn't realize pre-sale was so soon for us. And then I was like, oh my God, we need to like get something going. And then I'm like, baby day is a week from tomorrow. So
just go ahead and go have that baby and we'll hold down the fort.
Gosh, I'm ready. Trust me. But yeah, so let's like maybe just think on how we could compartmentalize it. We could do a week-long thing where it's like, part 1 is Monday, part 2, whatever. And it could be a group, like it could be inside a group where people could come in and catch up on it. And it's like, if someone is confused with volume, we leave it open, we add them in there, we put the link in your team pages so that that's always like an open spot for them to come and learn about volume. So we're not feeling like we're recreating things all the time until things need refreshed and numbers change and all that stuff. Yeah, Amy, I would agree. Probably Morning Meltdown needs to have a focus like right this second. Because it's like 2 weeks, 1, 2, 3 weeks away. So yeah, my head's kind of everywhere, but like I just wanted to get you guys on a call to talk about like how we could organize things. I don't necessarily know when, but how. And then also really quickly, like I was talking to, on that Superstar call, they were just talking about like the funnel system, because we were saying like, I know Tori was saying like, we'll always lead with the challenge pack and then And so their funnel was like, don't take away the challenge pack option from those who are doing really well with Success Club. So like always lead with the challenge pack option. Best, commission right away for a new coach, gets them success starters, that summit ticket, like all those things rolling for them. But then also into the next month, maybe like going into those people that you've had the conversation with that are your customers and saying, okay, now let's focus on nutrition. Because usually I sell the cheapest pack, like just because I literally don't hate to like upsell them. I'm just like, just start here. There's meal plans and recipes on BOD. Like if we feel like you need to add something in next, we will. So the next month, and that might be a tracking issue, especially if you're unorganized like me, but like the next month, okay, what about nutrition? How are you doing? Do you think the containers would be something that'd be good for you? What about To Be Mindset? And getting those people retained on a different like nutritional aspect. And then month 3, okay, now let's talk about supplements. What supplements have you tried? What have you not tried? How are you feeling? Do you think you would want to try Energize and Recover instead of Shakeology? Because the reality is most people aren't staying on Shakeology past month 2 or 3. So like, let's talk about something else that they would be willing to try. And then you've got that retention with the HD and stuff starting to happen. So the funnel, again, just in a different way.
Hey, I got to go pick up Cam, but I'll just keep you guys or Nikki updated on the hype group. And then
okay, thank you.
I think we should get that, like you said, rocking as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's creeping up.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, and product highlights wouldn't be something that we necessarily need to have like this big volume training prepared for. Like if we had good graphics, we can present that to our teams right away just so they have it. And then we roll into some kind of type of training thing like later. But this morning meltdown, I do feel like needs to happen right away.
I feel like the biggest question with morning meltdown is because we have Google Docs from past hype groups, whatnot. So I think it's just a matter of plugging in. We have all the content. It's just a matter of sitting down and spending a few hours to get it done. So I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Carly, wasn't it April that shared, did she have a morning meltdown Snoop group?
There's been a couple that I've seen, yeah.
I felt like I saw her in maybe our Monday Mastermind.
There's a few coaches already running on, like some people started on like June 1st. I'm like, wait.
And we have a separate Morning Meltdown 100 Mastermind group where people have shared a lot too that we could pick from. Like graphics are already created. They've already been double checked to make sure the packs and the pricing and all of that is in line. So it's just a matter of organizing it and getting it all together and setting some dates and letting everyone know that it's happening.
And getting it done so there's actual progress photos, because right now most of the updates we have are through, some people took 80 but some people didn't do that, so most of it we have 1 through 50. So I mean, we just need photos to plug in. We have a sizzle video. I wouldn't worry about that. I think it'd be simple.
Okay. And I honestly I feel like I need that group for myself, so I don't feel super knowledgeable on it.
And I think there are going to be a few key talking points that we're going to want to land home with people about 100 being in the name and people being turned off by 100 days and that being so daunting. And do I need to do it 100 days straight? And kind of talking to those things that are going to turn people away. So just us identifying kind of those top 5, debunking those myths, I guess, or those worries, that's going to be big.
Okay. And I know, did someone mention, or maybe just Chelsea and I were talking about this, like how for UPF we did a coach training and a customer, but I think almost just open it up a few days early and let us post some stuff that coaches might want to know and then roll it into a hype group. I don't know that we need like
two separate groups or just one.
I think one would be fine, but like just allow the coaches in early.
That's what I think. Like do a few days early, let us talk about it. I mean, you can even delete those posts if you don't want potentials to see them, and then just let it roll into a hype group.
Yeah, that'd be great if y'all can.
We got it.
Thank you.
I'll connect with Katie, and then those of you who are in MM100, if you want to get in on the planning, we can include you as well. But
Okay.
I plan on updating the Transform 20 Google Docs so we have everything organized.
Perfect. Okay, and then if we can, after we hop off this, if anybody wants to think how you might want to put it in parts as far as this volume thing, and then like you said, maybe we get through Morning Meltdown and then we come and revisit this, but at least we've talked about it, and we can definitely grab graphics that we've found in these other groups and post it in the Diamond page to share in the meantime, all that good stuff, and kind of go in that order. Like Morning Meltdown gets organized, product information gets dropped, volume training is in the works and happens. Yeah, this daytime call is, I'm surprised. 2 pages of us. It's awesome. Okay, well, that's all I have for that topic, unless you guys have more. Other than that, I'll stay on with anybody who wants to reverse engineer goals. And what I mean by that is just like, okay, do you have an income goal? And like, how do I reverse engineer that? Or do you have like a team goal? How do you go backwards and see like what you need to do with those steps to hit that goal? Okay, and I know it's just like a couple people, so I don't know if anybody will stay on, but we'll see. Alrighty. Well, if that is not you, then y'all can hop off. Thank you guys for being on. Appreciate ya.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye. I'll keep you updated on this baby.
Go bounce on a ball.
I have a trampoline in the basement. I need to like go jump on it.
I actually saw a time hop photo of me bouncing on a ball, and like Dempsey was like in my lap, and I was so triggered because I was like,
I feel like it never works though. Like all the people who bounce on the balls never have their baby early, so it's like
never. I think you're like shoving it up there. Oh God! All right, I'm gonna go.
All right, bye. Oh yeah. All right.
All right, bye guys. Sorry.
Bye. Yeah, you. Okay. All right. Anybody still on who wants to chat about reverse engineering? Income goal. Okay, Tara.
Hey, I do. I've got craziness on here, so just the house at lunchtime.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I think I had posted in there. I'm not sure, but just like income, I mean, I'm looking to build my team, but I need to recruit more coaches who want to work. I am awesome at recruiting coaches who want a discount, and I think my downline is 28 coaches, 27, 28, and of those, 3 of them even say that they want to work, and 1 or 2 of them are doing anything. I'm diamond, but and the emeralds are coaches. I was going to make my husband emerald, but then I didn't. So my emeralds are at least coaches, working coaches.
Yeah.
But so I'm very kind of shaky because I know that you can't hold that, with 2 working coaches pretty much. So, but I need to, I've been doing this for a while and, love every aspect of it, but I need to build that income. And it's so interesting to hear, I forgot who it was, but said that she hit, SC 68 and had her lowest income month. And it does seem like my income fluctuates so much, based on, volume from one side because I don't have help
that's what I want to ask. Do you have any kind of power leg?
No, well, I do now, and it's mine, but it's only by $500 to $600. Basically, it's not a massive amount.
When you see your volume left to right side, is it even, or does it have some variation there?
Flops. Right now, the right leg is about $500 or $600 more than the
volume more.
Yes,
Okay.
volume more. And that's the side that my husband's on, and it's also the side that is, that I've worked to build because I had a working, upline at one time, And so I was like, well, I'm going to build this side and let my upline help me with this side. And so now, she has one or two coaches that are discount coaches on that side, and that's about it. So
you're building both legs, and you have a power leg that changes from week to week. So you're fairly even, I would say.
I would say fairly even. Yeah. Okay. It's not a big difference.
Okay. So for you, as far as income growth, and I'm going to say this to anybody who is in an inside dead leg spot. So I've had this conversation with some of you. If you are in that spot, you are good to be building both sides evenly. You don't need to worry about necessarily building up one leg more than the other. In my opinion, you rank advancing is now more important. There are a lot of cases where we have to let go of our ego and say, I am not going to build for that because that does not help my income. But in a case where you do not have that leg supplying that major volume, your income is a lot of times going to be reliant on your quarterly bonuses. And so also getting to 2-star because you also get that second business center. So it is not necessarily an ego-driven thing at that point. It's like, this is for my livelihood, because that 2-star bonus, that 5-star bonus, all of those things are crucial to building my yearly income. Because it's just a slower build, being honest, than having a superpower leg, which is fine. I've got 4 business centers. They're in all different places. I have seen every type of growth there is, and you can definitely build. I mean, I built my second business center on my weak leg. That was all from me, and it's a great source of income now for our family, but that took more time, and it still doesn't earn what my first business center does because it does have a power leg. So I would say building evenly is a place that you need to go for sure. As far as what you need to earn, I don't know if you understand volume, but I can definitely tell you, like, if you have a X amount of income goal, I can tell you what your legs need to look like. Like, if that's something that you want to know, like, okay, I want to earn this much in team cycles. What do my legs need to look like?
Yeah, I guess, the goal is to, not be teaching forever. And so, luckily my teaching income is not that high. So it's not like I have to replace a huge, about the teacher salary. I don't have to replace a huge income, but, my goal was always like 5 years, like within 5 years, this was my goal. Within 5 years, I wanted to be making $8,000 a month. So that way, because, teaching, my salary is not that high, but I have retirement, I have insurance, and, things like that. And so I wanted to, come close to doubling my teacher salary so that I could still put money into retirement and, and cover the insurance for the family. So the $8,000 a month was like my goal from day one. And I'm on, getting close to year 4 here and not there,
Right. Okay, so let's go. So I'm going to ask you to go smaller than that for now because you're not there. So let's see like where we see ourselves in maybe a year, like the reality of that. So if we could say even half of that, like, would you say like in 1 year, if I could be making $1,000 a week, would that be helpful type of thing just from your team? Again, like your cycles, what you make in bonuses is all going to be compiled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So obviously what we're talking about here stays here, just for anybody who's on this together. But so let me pull up my calculator really quickly because I'm the worst at math. I mean, I'm not going to like tell you wrong, but Okay, so in order for you to cap on your cycles, like capitalize on them and use them all without having like a bunch of rollover, you want to have 200 of your volume coming from one side and 100 from the other, obviously for one cycle. Otherwise, something is getting unused and then rolling over, which isn't necessarily a bad thing either. But we want to capitalize it on as much as we can. So if you get to the place where your legs start to look 2 to 1, that's actually a great thing, because it's going to pull it exactly how it needs to. However, if they're even, that's okay too, because it'll just keep pulling from either side. It's not only going to pull 200 from one side, it's going to pull 200 from the strongest side. So whatever is the strongest at that time, it'll pull from that 200 and then 100 from the other. So let me again go right there. Oh, my children are home. Perfect timing. Hi.
Hi.
How was the movie?
Good.
Your lipstick stayed on, or did you bring it with you?
I brought it with me.
I thought so.
And a mirror.
Perfect. Were you a good girl?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm going to be done in just a second, okay?
Okay.
Can you shut my door?
Sure.
You can have one.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, here comes the other one. Okay, so if we're capitalizing and we had a 2 to 1 ratio, you could say 10,000 volume on the stronger leg, and half of that on the weaker leg. So 5,000 is going to get you $900 a week from your team. So this is where you go in and you look at things like the product training, where it's like, where can my team earn this? Like where, yes, challenge packs are a great deal, but like 90 PV on Shapeology or TV or whatever it is on Shapeology every single month is really huge too. So retention is so big. Getting everyone in your downline doing it, getting everyone talking to their customers about it. And that right now is where your weakness is, because you just said to me, I have several who are discounted, only have 3 that are working. Mm-hmm. So your goal 100%, and you know that, is to find working coaches. And in the meantime, working with the few that are working, to get them on board with what products you're using and talking about it and getting a solid challenge group together and a customer base and all of that, because that's going to be where your income grows. So you can look and see, okay, here's where my legs are realistically now. That number is where you need to be earning about $1,000 a week from your team.
And I guess that, I mean, it makes sense, but so that's 10K, 5K a week.
Weekly.
And so each week I would cycle enough times to get $900.
$900 a week if your team was cycling 10,000 on the left or right leg, whichever, and then half of that on the other, which would be 5.
Is there any carrots?
No, there's not carrots.
What?
I don't have any carrots.
Okay. Yeah, that's
my favorite.
It might be a hard pill to swallow because I don't know where your legs are, but it's a good thing to know so that you can move forward instead of like being blind to like what really needs to happen, you know?
Right. Well, and just income showing up and being like, oh, that's awesome, but not really knowing, you know, like getting the whole breakdown of it. And then 2 weeks later, oh, well, where'd that income go? You know, it was a great check this week, but then 2 weeks later, you know, and I don't want to be.
Yeah, and your team volume will fluctuate, but I'll say like mine's to a point where like I can say I'm going to wake up and know approximately what I'm going to make on a Thursday, because it's not at this point based on strictly what I did in my commissions, you know, and that's what you want. That's what a network market is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That helps. I'm going to set some goals.
Anyone else want to like need a number or anything? Or maybe that number helped.
I mean, I have a team call tomorrow night, and I'm going to scale back even further. Like, hey guys, what would $100 extra a week look like for you and your team? So what would that look like volume wise? Especially, I just have a lot of coaches who are kind of doing it, but if they could just realize that this is all you need to do to make $100 a week without, you know, putting pressure on yourself to sell a challenge pack, that may be helpful.
So if you did, this is a diamond cycling. So this is $18 a cycle. But if you had,
Wish my girls would have stayed on this, my diamond.
so if you had 1,000 on your strong leg, and you pulled 200 from that, that would be 5 cycles at almost $20 a cycle, which would be about $90 a week. So $400 extra dollars from what your team is doing. And 1,000 is 100% capable. Like, that is literally just having working coaches a lot of times selling anything or on their own products. I mean, I have several people in our downline you see on the top 10 who are selling over 1,000, 2,000 of their own volume from one coach. So it's just finding those ones that are going to do that. So that would be 1,000 and then 500 on the weaker leg to make approximately $100 a week from your team. And that's a great way to start. Like, it's a perfect place to start with them and just say, okay, this is all it needs to look like for you to be making that $400 without doing anything, which is extra money. And then from there, like, you can hustle all you want and make whatever you want in all these other bonus areas. Anyone else? Nicole, I am going to unmute you.
That's just really eye-opening to me.
Is it?
Yes.
Good.
Because, I mean, my volume is nowhere near 10,000. But that's my goal, is to get to that $1,000 a week.
So mine isn't either, and I'm I'm willing to be fully transparent with you guys. I am now consistently making between $1,000 and $1,100 a week after, but that's building my team and having some workers. I don't know exactly what my volume looks like right now, but I'm pretty even, and I'm on a dead inside leg, so I'm not getting team volume from anyone else. So that's where I am now.
Not to say that anybody in that position cannot be hugely successful. I mean, I know several coaches in other organizations, like within Beachbody, who are in an inside dead leg, don't have an active upline, and they crush it. And they're 6-figure earners, multi-6-figure earners. Like, so it will be harder work for you. I would never not tell you that. It's just like, it is what it is. But it's 100% possibility to still be very successful.
Mm-hmm. And like, when did you see that jump? Was it after you opened your second CBC, basically, at that point?
Absolutely, but I will say that I still bust my ass to hit Success Club 20 because I still depend on those commission dollars too, just because I want to make sure that those are there as well. So I would say my income probably about doubled once I opened my second business center. But then I asked Morgan Spracio, if she's seen that much of an increase since opening her second, and she said she hasn't. So I think it just depends.
I mean, so I do have a power leg technically. Stephanie Chico actually put her best friend on an inside dead leg, and then to help her out, put me and some other people in her place. So it became a strong leg, but it wasn't. It just so happened that the people that we placed there ended up doing really, really well. And it created that. So that's, again, like, it can just take off based on like having these awesome coaches. So, but I had obviously your weak leg is a dead leg unless you build it yourself. And so I struggle to stay 15-star because so many of my diamonds and my working coaches I placed on my weak leg. So I have several of them there. And then my second business center is also there, where there's, 6 diamonds in that center. And so that really helped, like, just boost it tremendously. But it's a struggle to keep the rank because I'm going for something else.
It's like all a puzzle. There's not
So much strategy. It's insane. Other questions? Nicole, did you still have a question?
No, my hand was actually just cramping. So
Bad timing.
yeah, bad timing.
Okay.
I really do